Hi, and welcome to School of Life. My name is Rafa Godlove, and my job is to teach you life lessons in a way that is easily understood. On today's edition, I'll be telling you about saloon etiquette. Basically, it's just how to behave and comport yourself when you're in a hair salon. And there's some things that you might do or say that might annoy people without you even doing it intentionally. So today I'll be teaching you salon etiquette. But before we get into all the different kinds of etiquette in a salon, I'd like to first of all tell you some fun facts about the human hair. Now, the first thing you need to know about human hair is that the human being has an average of 100,000 strands of hair on their head scalp. 100,000, that's a lot. So that's like the first fun fact. The next thing you need to know, which is interesting about hair, is that the human hair is inflammable, meaning that you cannot destroy it. If you light fire on it, fire doesn't hold to the human hair. Another thing which is very important about the human hair is that it contains the deoxyribonucleic acid called DNA of a person. So basically, what is that? It's the central information system of a human being, a human cell, whether it's an animal cell or a plant cell. So the strands of your hair contain all of that information. So if I want to know like who is your father, I can pick up your hair and they do scientific tests on it and all of that, and it's going to let us know all of that because hair has DNA in it. Now, all of the fun facts aside, let me tell you now saloon etiquette. How do you behave yourself in a salon? The first thing, and this is for all the ladies out there, the first thing you need to know about behavior in a salon is that do not brag about yourself, your family, your achievements, your marriage, because at the end of the day, no one cares. It's the truth. And you want to say, Rafa, what gives you the right to start telling us how to behave in a salon or not? I have the right to say it because I've worked in 4 salons here in the political capital city of the Republic of Cameroon, Yaoundé. I've worked in 4 major salons, and I'm sharing all of these experiences based on the things that I've seen and the things that I've heard from other people. So point number 1, do not brag about your achievements or whatever. If you get into a salon, you want to have a conversation, beg your pardon, talk about your hair. If you came to braid your hair, if you came to do your dreadlocks, talk about your dreadlocks, talk about different colors of your dreadlocks and all of that. Don't be talking about my husband and my children and my marriage was fabulous and all of this stuff, because people don't care about it, and it's a turn off. And most of the times when you brag so much about yourself, I've seen this especially with newlyweds, new couples. When a woman gets married recently, she's going to show you her wedding ring, and she's always doing this and always doing this. Everything, she touches everything with her left hand. She gives you money with her left hand. She does everything with her left hand because she wants you to see her ring. And she's going to brag about it, and she's going to talk about it. Nobody cares about you. Nobody cares about your life. So don't talk about yourself. Talk about your hair, different things you want to do with your hair and your aspirations and all of that. So that is important. Keep it everything which is centered around the salon. Don't talk about external things. The next thing that you need to know when you get into a hair salon as a lady is that don't waste our time. Don't waste the time of your stylist. Don't waste the time of people, because in the salons that I've worked, we had like schedules. So you might call and they'll say we can fit you in at about 9:30 and we'll have it in about 11 a.m. Or they'll say no, we'll be able to have it just about say 1 p.m. or 2. If they give you a rendezvous, please respect your rendezvous. Don't come late for rendezvous, because people who work in salons, especially professional salons, they work with very tight schedules. They know that we can braid a hair in about 2 hours or 1 hour 30 minutes and things like that. So you need to do everything and respect our schedules. And then another thing is, in relation to time, don't waste the time of the person who's going to do your hair. Don't waste the time, because most professional salons, they work on tight schedules, meaning that you might call and they'll say we can be able to have it at about 9 o'clock or 11 o'clock or 1:30, and they know that they'll be able to braid your hair in about 3 hours or 2 hours. But if you now come late to the salon, you're interrupting every other person's rendezvous. And sometimes some people might even come early and they might respect their rendezvous, but they don't know exactly what they want to do with their hair. And so they'll be scrolling through their phones and looking through stuff and telling you that, I wanted to braid my hair, I wanted to do this, I wanted to do this. At the end of the day, decide what you want to do with your hair before you get into a salon, or at least have an idea of what you want so that we can easily guide you. Okay, don't be coming confused. Don't be coming where you're not sure of anything, and now you're asking people like, do you think this will be nice? Do you think this will be nice? You're boring. You're actually boring. So know what you want to do so that you don't waste our time. The next thing, the next etiquette you need to know, the next secret that you need to know about saloons is that gossip rotates. Gossip rotates like wildfire. I've seen situations where somebody walks into the saloon and they start talking about other people's lives, and they start gossiping, and immediately you walk out of the salon, your name becomes the next topic of discussion. So when you get into a salon, talk about your hair, talk about the different things you want to do with your hair, keep every conversation close to hair and salon related stuff. Don't be talking about people's weddings, don't be talking about people's matrimonial homes, don't be talking about nothing. Don't be talking about nothing. Talk about the things that you came to do there, because gossip rotates, and they will hug you and smile with you and everything when you come for your next rendezvous, but they'll be killing your name and slaughtering your name and cooking your name once you're not around. So be mindful of the things you say, mind your business, and talk only when necessary. All right, so you don't become the topic of discussion, or people don't gossip about you. Let me just tell you a story. There's this particular lady. She walked into the salon, one of the salons that I was working at the time, and she was like, we were cleaning her hair, we're doing some things on her hair, and she was like, I don't know how you guys like egg, but my husband does not really like egg except when it's fried dry. I'm like, who asked you? Who asked you? Some will get into the salon, they'll be like, oh, my wedding was fabulous, and my wedding was this, and my wedding was that, but your wedding was not the best. And then if it so happens that the lady who owns the salon was at the wedding, she's going to pick up that conversation when you're gone and start saying that your wedding was a silly wedding, the wine was cheap, the bridesmaid wore satin, which is cheap fabric. They're going to slay you. They're literally going to kill you in your absence. So you need to be very careful and understand that gossip rotates in a salon. So whatever thing that you do, keep your conversations tight, keep them related to your hair. Don't be running your mouth, don't be talking about your achievements, because at the end of the day, there are people who walk into that same salon that have more achievements than you, that have more fabulous weddings, that have more fabulous anything. If somebody does not really ask you a question or try to know something from you, actually like, but how is matrimonial life now, and how is your life different now that you're married, and things like that, if they don't really ask you a real question, baby girl, please don't talk about nothing, because you end up being the topic of discussion. The next thing I want to share with you about salon etiquette is that talk with your mouth, not your body. Talk with your mouth, not your body. That people get into a salon, they get into conversations, and they're telling you, and they're shaking their hair, and they're everything, and people are walking on your hair. You don't do that. You talk, and you're like, oh, they're doing your hair, like, okay, you just talk, and you talk with your mouth. Don't be talking with sign language and hand signals and body gestures, like never. Girls talk with your hands and all of that. You need to be very, very careful, because you distract people. There are other times when I'm saying this especially because I worked in salons. I was not doing hair a lot. I was working as a general esthetician. General estheticians are people that do everything which is not hair related. And so they do your nails, they groom your brows, they do your makeup, they scrub your face, they scrub your feet, they massage and all of that. So that's what I was doing. And so if I'm working with a sharp razor to groom your brows, and now you're talking and shaking your head and everything, you're going to get injured, and it's not going to be my fault. So when you get into a salon, try to keep calm and allow people work on your hair properly. And if you want to talk briefly, and and talk in a way that you don't move your hair and juggle things and disturb people from working, because at the end of the day, you didn't come to talk, you came to do your hair. So that brings us to the last point, and this last point is very, very important. Point number 6. When you get into a salon, Try as much as possible not to bring your children. I cannot overemphasize on this. It's very, very important. Try as much as possible not to come to a salon with your children, because most salons don't have like a recreational environment or a recreational corner where you can keep children. And even if you must bring children or there's no one to care for your child while you're in a salon doing your hair, I'll advise that you bring a drink, bring a snack, bring something that the child can eat or distract themselves with while you do your hair. Because at the end of the day, if you don't do that, and especially if your children are not party trained, what does it mean for a child to be party trained? You say, okay, Rafa, what does it mean? A child to be party trained means that the child is trained to comport themselves and behave properly with proper etiquette in public. That children will talk carelessly, and I'm saying this because it's a generation. It's a generation. My own generation, my mother just has to look at you, and you already know she's saying, don't put your mouth in adult conversations. You already know she's saying, drop that and put that down and don't talk to people and don't talk to strangers and all of that. So it's important. Children need to be party trained. You need to teach children how to behave when they're outside their homes. So if your children are not party trained, please don't bring them into a hair salon. They're going to embarrass you. They're going to break stuff. They're going to act crazy. They're going to disturb other people. They're going to cry. They're going to be noisy. There are some children, you ask yourself, is this a child or is this just some demon from hell that are going to disturb you? You know, if your children are not party trained, don't bring them into a salon environment, because they're going to break stuff and they're going to scatter places. We need to train children to behave. It's true that a child cannot behave like an adult bird. You need to train children to a certain extent to learn how to sit down. There are some people who, they bring children into a salon and even their mother tells the child, put that down and put that down, and you have to tell the child like 120 times. I'm like, this is not my generation, because my mom won't even allow you to do all of that. So it's important. Just to give you a recapitulation of all of what I've said, I have said that if you get into a salon, don't be bragging about yourself. That's the first thing. The next thing, when you get into a salon, make sure that you're on time. Okay? Make sure that you're on time and be on time and respect rendezvous and stick to time. And when you come in, know what you want to do so that you don't waste people's time. There are people who come in like 30 minutes late or 1 hour late and they're like, I took an earlier rendezvous. You took an earlier rendezvous, but you were not there on time. And so we picked up somebody else's hair to do. And so it's not our fault, it's yours because you were not on time. And the next thing is that you should understand that gossip rotates in a salon. It rotates. You talk about somebody, when you walk out that door, they're going to talk about you. So be careful what you say in a salon. Keep your family life out of conversations in a salon. Keep your emotional life out of conversations. Keep every kind of life out of conversations, because they're going to pick it and use it against you. They're going to talk to you. I'm telling you as an insider. I've worked in 4 salons and know how it goes down. I used to be so traumatized in a salon because people just gossip, and I don't know how to do hypocrisy where you hug and you kiss people and just so nice to have you and blah 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 blah, and then they turn your back and you start saying, oh, her wedding was trash and her husband is just a loser and this and that and that. It's keep your mouth shut when you're in a salon. The next thing is that don't insult your stylist. Do not insult your stylist. There are people who get into a salon and they're like, oh, my stylist, nobody ever satisfies me. And I wish I had this particular person because they know how to do my hair better. And blah, blah, blah. If they know how to do your hair, why are you here? Why are you here? So you need to respect people and don't put unnecessary pressure on people and just put pressure on them or kill their confidence. Allow somebody prove themselves to you that they can do your hair. The next thing is that you don't talk with your body, you talk with your mouth. And try to talk as little as possible, because even when you talk, sometimes your brows move and your face moves and all of that. If somebody's walking on your brows and all of that and they're trying to do your makeup, you talk, you destabilize your face, which is not very nice. The third and the sixth and last thing, beg your pardon, is that you don't bring children to a salon. If you can avoid it, try to avoid it. Don't bring children to a salon. If you can avoid it, just keep your children home, especially if they're not party trained. If they cannot behave properly in public. And why would they not even behave properly in public? It's your job to educate children. It's your job, even by your own example, the way you laugh. There's some parents that just laugh carelessly, they act carelessly, they talk carelessly. Your child is basically a reflection of who you are. We can look at your children, you bring them to a salon, we look at the way they behave themselves, we can already tell what kind of parent you are. And don't be lying talking about we give birth to children, we don't give birth to their heart. You give birth to, you train them. A child, philosophers say, come into the world like an empty book, like an empty slate. You write whatever you want to write on a child. You teach them how to respect people, how to say thank you, how to sit down like a lady, and how to comport themselves, and how to stay quiet, and don't be interjecting and putting your mouth in adult conversations. The way your child behaves reflects you. So, I have not said all of the things that I've said to bruise your emotions or to hurt you. And the list of saloon etiquettes that I just gave you are not like exhaustive. And so it's not like everything you need to know, Bird. I think that these are the main things that if you get into a saloon, especially an African saloon, you need to learn how to behave yourself in all of these ways that I just mentioned. If you've learned something, then good. If you've gotten annoyed because I just said the blatant truth, then I'm sorry for hurting your emotions. But I think that the best way for us to move forward and develop ourselves as human beings is for us to have open conversations, and that's why I'm here, and that's why you're watching School of Life. My name is Rafa Godlove. Thank you so much for having spent this time with me. Bye bye, until next time.